I uploaded a couple of videos where I'd taken action camera footage from the SJ7 and made it slightly more cinematic, so it goes from being a fisheye view into a nice wide dynamic image. This was done in Lightworks, and Lightworks, when you first open it, seems to be quite empty of effects and stuff. So the first thing you have to do is you have to go into Google and look for user effects Lightworks, or Lightworks user effects, and that should bring up these pages here, which on user effects files, post 1 has them all. This takes you through to the Lightworks forum, where there's a whole stack of different user effects that you can use. The ones that I've used are mostly the cubic lens distortion, the perspective distortion, and letterbox. Those are the three ones that are used in the conversion. Okay, so this is the web page. As you can see, there are stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of different effects that you can use. So go through them, and those were the three that I've used on this conversion, on this process. When you download them, they're downloaded as a zip file. You need to unzip them because when you go into Lightworks, you're going to need to install them. And you install them, if I show you here, by going to add a new effect, which is in the top, the plus of the left hand side when you go into your FX lists. And it's not obvious here, but what you need to do is where it says category, if you right click on the category, you have create templates from .fx files. So you navigate to where you have them, which is here, select the ones that you want and click on OK. I've already installed them, so I'm not going to bother there. And once they're there, you're set to go. Okay, so this is my original image. This was recorded, I think, on a Ye 4K Plus. But as you can see, when you look at the sides of it, so on the left hand side of the image, you can see these windows, verticals aren't very vertical, they're all curved. And the same on the right hand when you look at these. So the first thing to do is to apply cubic lens distortion. So you do that normal, add plus, category, I think that's in stylize, that gets put into, and then scroll through somewhere in here. There's loads of them, I've got absolutely tons of them from that side. And somewhere in there is cubic lens distortion, there, under repair. This will defish the image, so what I'm going to do is I'll just reset these to normal and we'll turn it on and I'll show you how that works. You've got three things: scale, which basically scales it down. I like to bring it down so I've got more space to see the pincushion effect. Distortion, if you turn it up, it adds more of a barrel effect distortion. When you turn it down, it adds pincushion effect. Now, it looks like it's gone too much, but that's what the cubic distortion can help counter. So you can bring that up and it counters some of the excess of the pincushion. So I'm going to put back in, I think this was my to a reasonable level, and you can see now the distortion has been removed or reduced. Now I'm just going to get my scale so I can see all the corners, because it just helps having that little bit extra for the next bit. If you look at the left hand, you can see these windows are now straight, but they're not quite vertical. and the same on the right. When you look at this, it's not vertical, it's they're pointing towards a point above the screen where they'll merge. So that's perspective distortion, and we can correct that using this perspective tool. Unlike the cubic lens distortion, which affects the lens and therefore would be fine all scenes, perspective changes with the change of your camera. So if it tilts forward and down, the perspective would change, so you might have to do things like keyframe this, or chop your video up in smaller chunks and have different settings on them. But listen, I'll just show you how this works. If you look here, you've got top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Now this relates to the corners. So what this does is it stretches the square image out in order to try and line these up. So if I turn this on, I'm going to show you how it works. So if we look at the left hand side, top left perspective, you can either drag it up here and move it around. As you can see, these are changing as they go. Down here. Now I tend to just keep the wire in the same place and then just move the slider if you want, or drag it around. And this little box here, if you see on there, there's show grid. That just shows the grid so you can tell if they're up and vertical. So that was the top left. I'll do the same with the top right to try and get that straight. And there we go, that's close enough. And now you can see the before and the after. Okay, now after I've done those two bits, I then do anything like colour correction, sharpening, etc. So just basically turn on the sharpening. Colour correction, you can either say use the colour correction dials to get a look, or you could add a 3D LUT to do the same. I'm just going to use the colour correction dials. And the last bit is your letterboxing. The letterboxing will basically be used to remove, on the left and right you've got these two arcs, and then the top and bottom you've got these two arcs. So the letterboxing is going to zoom in to remove the left and right, and then put two black lines at the top and bottom. So to zoom in, you've got here zoom in the options. That will let you can either zoom in a lot or turn it on, in which case you don't need to have the boxes in, or I just zoom in just so that I'll lose the last of those sidebars, those last of those two little arches on the other sides. Then under here you can see aspect mask. There's very different aspects. This is the aspect ratio of the actual image. So if you did 4:3 would put bars on the side, which we don't want. But if you choose custom, you can adjust the custom aspect ratio down to how far you want. If you just want to lose them, that's fine, but you've got to make sure you keep that constant throughout all your clips. Or I like to choose 2.4, which is what I used on those videos, and that gives us the final look of it. Once you've got these set, I'll go and delete that one. Once you've got these set, if you right click somewhere in the settings, in the blank areas, there's save as template. What this means is you can save this as a pre-made stack and then just load it in. So I'm going to put that into my users category and then call it cinematic, click do it, and then if I wanted to do again, I can go onto my plus to add an effect, go down to my users, and there I have cinematic, which would add all those effects onto another clip. Okay, and that's basically how I done that. Hopefully this is informative enough, because this is the first time I've actually done this, and hopefully it works. If there's anything you're not clear about, let us know.